Alright, buddy boys, I'd like to welcome you guys to the second installment of our cambered out little Honda Accord here. So, as you can see, the wheels have been on it for a little while. Only on one side though, so it's kind of silly. I'm going to probably put the factory wheel back on the front here so we can use both of these rears for mock-up. Because we finally got ourselves some adjustable camberness for the rear. These are the same, they're just long adjustable links. So I don't know if they're different or not, but they look the same. So we'll get down to that and then see how much camber we can get out of it, and I'll bring you guys back. Alright, we got her jacked up with the wheels taken off. You can see some of the items here. So it looks like both of the lower control arms, which would be here, and there's another one down there, and the camber arm, which is located here on the top. See if you can get a better view of it. Right there. So some of the tools, basically everything is like 17 millimeter, so it looks like it'll come off pretty easily. Down here, these arms just go across. The only thing I am worried about is up at the top, up there, it does have like an eccentric bolt to where like you can turn it, you know, to align the car from the factory. And being that these ones are adjustable already, I don't know if I have to get like a different bolt or something, but we'll get to that point when we get there. But otherwise, just like a kind of a ball joint type deal here with the camber arm. So we're going to take the cotter pin out of there, see if we can pop that off, remove the bolts back there, compare the length, you know, from the factory to the aftermarket. I already have it all the way turned in as much as it should allow, so we may or may not be modifying it, but for now that's what we're going to do. Let me get to it. So here we have our factory control arm on the right versus the one on the left, which is all the way maxed out. So more than likely that's not going to be enough. I'm going to see if removing the nuts and then threading it all the way in will net us some more negative camber. But for now, installation wise, it should go in fairly simple, the same as we took out the other one. So let me get on it and see what it's looking like. So we got one side able to be all the way threaded in while removing the nut. However, this other side, it was too long here. So it has reverse threads on one side. So half of the block is reverse thread and the other half is regular thread. And this one was bottoming out those threads. So we're going to cut off about 1/2 inch or so and then clean it up with the nut that's already threaded on there as we take it off. And then we should be able to use both sides with no nut. And I mean, we can modify it more, you know, if we need to in the future. I'm just trying to put them on for the initial test and see what it's going to look like. All right, so I'm going to cut this off and then I'll bring you guys back to show you what it looks like, and then we'll put it on the car. So there you could see the difference we've made by modifying that side. So now it's fully collapsed, you know, at its smallest point. So it's about 8 inches from mounting point to mounting point, where the factory one is 10 inches. So should give us a decent amount of camber. Gonna have fun trying to put it on, eh? Alright, so the process I used for installing the camber arm, I basically like extended it. So one side has reverse threads and the other is regular threads. So as it's installed, you're able to turn it in the middle and extend it or shorten it. So I extended it and then installed it and then maxed it out fully negative. And then I proceeded to try and change out the lower control arms. So as you could see, like right there, there's nothing there, right? I removed the factory one, and while trying to do that, look at that thing, damn, chilling. While trying to do that, here's our factory arm here, right? So the thing about it is one side came off rather easily. The other side, not so much. So what ended up happening is you could see this bolt here, or this nut, I mean, it has these 3 little spots because it was like spot welded to the frame. It's supposed to be fixed, right? For the life of me, could not get it loose. Just could not. No matter what I tried. Oh yeah, look, peep my table too. CGOD, baby. Yeah, so I tried heat, WD-40, whatever you can think of. I tried it, and it was not working, right? So it's like a 14 millimeter head on this bolt. And you can see the bolt, I ended up kind of like stripping it out over time. So I welded this big old nut on there, and I was finally able to break it loose. But what was happening is the sleeve of the control arm was actually like seized to the bolt. So if you look here, it kind of like became one with itself, right? So once I broke it loose and I started loosening it, the bolt itself was not backing out. It was just like widening that area where this control arm is supposed to bolt on. So after the threads like fully came out, it broke the nut off from the frame, from the subframe, I guess we could say. And yeah, so the inner sleeve was just spinning inside, and it was pushing against the other mounting point where the bolt head was at. So I ended up having to cut it off, right? So as you can see, that's one side of our bolt, the other side, and the rest is stuck inside. So we're gonna have to replace it to be able to install our aftermarket adjustable arms. And I went ahead and got some 1/2-inch bolts. So I did indeed have to drill out our mounting point on this control arm. But as you could see, we're definitely getting a little tilty out there. So let me go ahead and slap this on, and maybe we'll test fit the wheels before fitting the other arms, which are here. Yeah, so we'll see what it's like and what it's fitting like and how much camber we're actually getting to get an idea. Yeah. So moving right along, we got the lower arms in. You can see that unfactory bolt there. The other side, however, was rather simple. It went in factory style, you know what I mean? So basically, the plan is I'm going to leave our camber maxed the hell out. Maybe bend this bracket, because it looks like that's going to be an issue. The brake line bracket. Or why the hell is this one like hella forward? I'm gonna have to basically adjust the lower arms to get everything within spec. See, this side for some reason is not as close to that brake line. So either way, I'm gonna do a Ghetto alignment to see, like this side, you know what I mean? It looks ever slightly towed in. I think this side I adjusted the arm a little bit more. So this side is like hella towed out. But yeah, I'm gonna set the car down, put the wheels on, and try to do somewhat of an alignment so that we don't run through these tires. I went ahead and pumped them up to about 40 pounds each. See, there you go. As for these wheels, I believe they're like American Eagle hammers or something like that. I don't really know. They don't have no markings, but I looked them up one day. I just forgot. So I'm gonna slap them on and somewhat try to align it. So slightly ghetto, but we now have plenty of clearance here. Went ahead and just loosened them both up. Took this one out, rotated it down, and this one is actually like sandwiching it against there. So I mean, shouldn't go anywhere. But it'll definitely save us from our brake line getting smashed. And I did the same on the other side, even though it's not as close. But like I said, plenty of clearance. You can see there. That's how we do it, baby. So, like I said, this is just a stance car, you know what I mean? Not a big emphasis on safety and stuff. So, deal with it. Alright, so you can see, definitely got some tilt. I'm gonna set the car down and we'll see kind of like what it looks like. But mainly I want to see like alignment wise where it needs to go. You know what I mean? So we'll kind of get an idea of what we got to do to that lower arm. See, so like low-key, this side looks almost kind of good. Damn! Hella tilt! Look at that, boys! What y'all know about that, man? Yeah, so this side, maybe extend it a little more. I don't know. But, boy, look at that tilt. Let me tell you. You come up and pull up, you know what I mean? Look at that. It's just all lip and tilt. That is player. So, like I said, these were some, I got the arms off of eBay. They came like as a kit with all three, but there was some issues with shipping or whatever. So I didn't actually receive the camber arms, and I ordered those separately. But ultimately, I'm sure most of the eBay stuff is all the same. May or may not need that rear, but we're definitely tilting. And one thing to note is this is still on the factory suspension. It's not lowered at all. So as you can see, it still has a little bit of wheel gap, which, I mean, it's gonna happen, you know, because like I said, it's not lowered at all. I'll try to, I don't know, I'd like to drive it, but like I said, I want to throw the toe plates on it, or at least try to. I don't even know if I'll be able to. But worst comes to worst, I can measure the tires themselves, which I'll probably end up doing actually. And you know what I mean? Try to get a little bit of an alignment. The idea is, I'm going to step back so we can get some clearer audio. But the idea is you don't want any toe, right? You don't want it towed in. You don't want it towed out, especially with this amount of camber. I don't know how much this is. Definitely double digit. I want to say it's definitely double digit camber. But yeah. So we don't want to run through the tires or whatever. I mean, these tires are boof anyways. I'm going to get new tires once we get it all set up and stuff. But just in general, you know, driving down the road right now, we don't want it to be all messed up or whatever. But damn! Let me say, whenever I say damn, that's what I'm talking about. Look at, what the? Look at the side view! And I don't know the exact specs of these wheels. I know they're 15x8, super duper negative, but I don't know exactly how much. So let me try to throw some booty alignment on it, and I'll bring you guys back. Alright, so this is going to be like a super rough estimate, right? And it doesn't really matter, honestly. This is just kind of like so that it's drivable, right? So the way I have it set up is it's like pressed up against the tire equally on both sides, right? As best as I could, at least. Normally, whenever I have done this in the past, it was like bigger wheels and smaller tires, so that is currently the issue. But if we look here, we can see our front measurement is under 85 inches, right? Well, let's go 84 and a half, just a rough estimate, right? Just for testing purposes. Over here, we're at 83 inches, just about. So we are, let's see, terribly towed out. So we're gonna have to tow it in, and hopefully the car is like straight and equal. So the idea is I want to adjust those lower arms equally on both sides to achieve the same measurement front and rear, and in theory that should zero out our toe, right? In theory. So wish me luck. Okay, so this is how we got it rigged up, right? So basically, like I said, the upper camber arms are maxed out on both sides. I went ahead and was adjusting the lower arm. So all the other arms are fixed, right? So as you move them in and out, the adjustable one anyways, it'll kind of like adjust your toe basically. So you could see here, you can barely see, I want to say those are millimeters. It's like at 212. And then back here, it's also about 212. So this is about as good as we're gonna get, right? I don't really care to take too much time on it. This is just gonna be basically like for some test driving purposes. And like I said, these tires are junk anyways. So we're gonna go ahead and call it a day right here. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten down the arms and everything, and should be good for a little test drive. Once we lower it and stuff and actually get, you know, like our final height, then we'll take our time and do like a more proper alignment, even though it's not proper at all. But either way, this is how you guys do it. So like I said, I had to kind of rig it up for the toe plates to work. I don't know how well it is, but it's gonna be good enough. Okay, so the test drive went pretty decent. The only thing I don't like is, I don't know if you guys can tell, but the wheel is like moved real far forward in the wheel well. Don't know what to do with that exactly. Look, like you could really tell over here. It is definitely double digit camber, at least -12, at the most maybe like -15. Factory suspension still 100%. It is what it is. Haven't got much farther anymore, but I did end up having to roll. Well, not even roll, I just beat the hell out the fender. I ain't gonna lie to you, I beat the hell out of it with a hammer. But yeah, you can see on the tire it did catch, you know what I mean, and then it kind of like pulled it out. So I had to do some side of the road fender rolling, which I basically just used the spare tire tool to be able to beat the metal back. And then once I got back home, I actually, you know, rolled it. But that's it right there. So that's basically going to be it for this one. We're going to continue on this build, figuring some more stuff out with it. But definitely hella cambered out. I don't know how well the alignment is. This side kind of looks better. I don't know what's going on there. So wish me luck, but that's basically how you achieve some negative camber on your Accord. Not the biggest fan of this suspension setup, but what are you gonna do, you know? This is what we got, this is what we're working with. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Later.